What's going on, guys? JP here, and this is going to be another DVD review. This time it's going to be the Blair Witch Project. The Blair Witch Project came out in 1999. I just watched it again last night for the first time in a little while. It's a found footage film. It pretty much kicked off the found footage, genre. I have heard that Cannibal Holocaust is like found footage, and that was I believe in the early 80s or something. But I have not seen that film, so I mean maybe that was the first, but this was definitely the most impactful. And it's basically it's set in the year 1994, October of 1994. Three student filmmakers disappear into the woods near Burkittsville, Maryland, while shooting a documentary. A year later, their footage was found. So basically, what it is these three kids decide to, they're not kids, but filmmakers, young students type of thing. They decide to make a documentary about the Blair Witch, who is a kind of a local legend around that town. So they start off, they go around and they, interview people, have them talk about the Blair Witch and other things that happen in that town. And then the second part of their documentary, they're going to go spend, I think, 2 days in the woods and, go check out a couple historical locations known for murders and stuff throughout the woods. And basically what happens is they can't get out. They keep going and they just can't. They get lost in there basically. And it's kind of, that's basically the story, without giving away too much. I know most people have probably seen this, but I try not to give spoilers just because in case there is somebody who hasn't seen it. Yeah, so to me, this is a kind of a hard film to review for me because I am a little bit, it is one of the movies that scared me the most as a kid. I believe I was like 8 or 9 when I seen this, and it really terrified me. It was set up to be real at first, like they really pulled the whole, this really happened thing, and it worked. It really worked at that time when the internet wasn't as, it was just starting up, and the story is, it's really low budget, and it's very scary in my opinion. It's one of them films where you really have to use your imagination, and because you don't really see much, so it's more you just have to keep, your mind scares you. You just kind of think like, what the heck, like what would this look like, or what would what's going on. You kind of have to use your head. And I know a lot of people don't like this movie, and I could totally see why. I mean, this is for a certain kind of people, and it works for me. I think it's at first I thought it was going to be a little bit boring watching it again, but it really wasn't. It was still effective to an extent. I mean, definitely not as effective as when it came out, but I still kind of got creeped out, and I know it's fake and stuff, but you kind of just have to get in there and kind of feel what the characters are feeling and put yourself into that position, because what happens in this movie, if you can just imagine yourself being there, totally scary. It's totally freaky. If I was just walking and the stick figure thing, alright, sorry about that, guys. I had a phone call. I'm probably gonna cut that out. And yeah, but I was saying, if you was just walking in the woods, camping, and you've already had a couple things happen, and you seen a bunch of these little stick figure things like hanging in the trees, dude, that would scare the heck out of me. And you know, it was such a simple movie, and it kind of shook the world. Kind of like how other movies, when I think of movies that like shook the world, I would say like, you know, The Exorcist, because I wasn't there for it, but everybody that was in my family that I talked to pretty much says it was everywhere, and it was just like a huge, you know, scary movie. And I remember everybody talking about the Blair Witch. I remember seeing it everywhere, you know, and I'm surprised that I didn't immediately find out that it was like, you know, fake. I totally bought into it. You know, I was a kid. I was 8. But I totally thought it was real at the time. And the woods was so similar to my woods, which are right outside of my house. I remember watching it and just seeing, like, when they're running and it's all dark, you can't really, you know, there's nothing to see. I remember always, like, rewinding it and slowly watching it and, like, seeing if I saw anything that they was screaming at and stuff. Just a really creepy movie, and the ending is, in my opinion, really, you know, spot on, amazing. The house at the end is perfect. There's, it's not really, I can't see anything being better with that house. That house was so damn creepy, and it looked so, like, real. I've seen tons of abandoned houses, like, in my areas, in my area where I live. When we was kids, we'd always, like, go inside them and stuff, and, I would say that one is pretty, you know, similar to what you'd find in an abandoned house, but totally more wrecked and just, like, messed up. And it just looked great to me. You know, I can see, like I was saying, I can see why people wouldn't like this movie. I mean, nothing really happens. It's kind of boring if you can't put yourself in that position. And, you know, for somebody seeing it now after never seeing it, I could almost, you know, I think it'd be pretty safe to say that a lot of, almost, you know, a high percentage of the people would not like it. And that's just because it's, you know, a lot of stuff has happened in film since that time. And you almost, especially now, you expect more, and you expect to see stuff, and you expect to, you know, not have to use your imagination. So I can see why people wouldn't like it now. I could see why people wouldn't like it then. So yeah, anyway, I think it's a great movie. It's fun. It's scary. It's, you know, a little boring if you can't put yourself in there and use your imagination and, you know, really feel what the characters are feeling. I thought the acting in this movie was great. Like, it's so realistic to me. Watching it now, there is some spots where you could kind of see some, you know, like, kind of not so genuine dialogue, and but it's not very many spots. Most of the movie, it seems really legit, because for the most part it kind of was legit. I mean, they really went out there, gave the actors the cameras, and had them do stuff, and then they also didn't really tell them some of the stuff that they was gonna do. It's more about the emotion of the characters and the total just psychological, mental, physical, every kind of way breakdown and total meltdown of the characters as they get more scared and they get more tired, and it's just it's cool watching them, like, totally panic once it gets to that time, and it really seemed kind of real to me. There is a commentary on here which I did check out, and it was actually really insightful. They shed a lot of light on some of the like, ways that they did stuff, and you know, how it was made, and I really recommend that if you've never seen it. I almost wanted it to go. I watched it immediately after the movie just because I was really interested in just knowing like uh, what these guys did to make this movie, and it's really really successful for the amount of money and stuff they put into it. Really low budget. It was really, I think it was perfect for its time because it was right there at the beginning of the internet, and like they even set up that fake website to for the three actors like that were missing or whatever. It was they really did really good at marketing and stuff, and it was so early in the internet that it wasn't late enough for everybody to find out tons of stuff about the movie, but it was early enough to use it as a marketable thing. So yeah, there's also a couple other features on here. Some newly discovered footage, which is basically some deleted scenes and stuff, which from what they said in the commentary, there was like hours of footage, and I actually would like to see a lot of it because they talked about a lot of things that that could have been in the movie and stuff that they took out after showing it at certain screenings and stuff. I haven't looked at the deleted stuff yet, but I will. This really got me, I got really into this time. It was kind of weird. To me, it's a 5 out of 5 type movie. I normally don't rate movies, but just for what it's done and at the time how effective it was. But I could totally, like I said, I could totally understand why people wouldn't like it, and it's one of them that's hard to argue to somebody why they should like it because I can totally see why they wouldn't. But this is going on pretty long, guys. That's pretty much my review of the Blair Witch Project. Peace out, and check you guys later, all that good stuff.